Thanks, guys. All right, carry on. Here we are. Lucky Tosh.
Cool, mate. Yeah, more than happy to give a bit of an overview. And Auri, Kate, thanks for dialing in. Auri, I know you and I sort of spoke during the week, so it was sort of great to get your thoughts and insights, given you've done something similar on the website, Train. And Kate, thanks for dialing in. Like I said, to hear me blubber on, it'd be great to get your thoughts and insights too. But in a nutshell, my concept and idea sort of came to me, and we spoke initially off the bat around lockdown, but in the first lot of lockdown in Melbourne, I was in lockdown for 12 weeks. I was stood down from my day job for 12 weeks. So I had a hell of a lot of time on my hands, I guess, to sit and think. And outside of being locked in my house for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I was allowed outside for an hour a day for exercise. So I took that hour a day every single day. I went down to my local recreation ground, so local oval, and I exercised there. And while I was exercising, there was a little drink fountain. I'd go through my water quite quickly because it was quite warm. And I'd use the water fountain for drinking out of when I went through my water bottle. And the water out of that water fountain tasted putrid, really, really bad. So I did it the first day. I was like, that's a bit strange. Went back again, did it 2 or 3 times. You could probably call me stupid for continuing to go back to the well and expecting a different result. But I continued to go back, and then I got genuinely concerned around the taste and what I was actually sticking into my body. So I went home and I sort of Googled around some of the things that actually impact the taste on water. And the number one thing was bacteria, and more pertinently, E. coli. So if you think of how damaging E. coli in large doses can actually be to your health, it's actually quite substantial. So that got me thinking around, well, I'm not going to be able to install a filter into this bloody drinking fountain. And I'm sure this, spot on, Kate. And I'm sure this problem is systemic, right? It's not just related to this drinking fountain in what was a fairly high socioeconomic area. So I went Googling. I was like, surely there's a portable drink bottle or something that I could take that would help filter this out. And I got searching. And I had to search a long time to actually find something. There was something on the market in the United States. So I thought, beauty, how good is this? I'm going to give this a go. So I went to buy it, and I looked and I saw that it was 3 months delivery time frame, and to get a 500 ml drink bottle delivered to my door was going to cost me 200 Australian dollars. So this is the height of COVID. Obviously, things have shit hit the fan in regards to freight, and it was just an absolute nightmare. So I thought, hold on, there could be a potential market for this within Australia. Obviously, I've discovered this problem myself. What's probably a problem in America, clearly, if there's a product already on the market. But at that point in time, there was absolutely nothing on the Australian market. And that got me thinking. And without sort of reciting the past 18 months, I went down a little bit of a rabbit warren engaging industrial designers, manufacturers, et cetera, et cetera. And it's probably worth saying off the outset, I have absolutely zero experience in any of this, none whatsoever.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. Me neither.
The only way.
So I like to think I'm embodying the constant student mantra. Because every single day, and every single Google search, every single bloody dead end or rabbit warren I end up, I was learning. I made a fuck ton of mistakes. I'm still making a fuck ton of mistakes.
You never stop.
Yeah, but the point is, I do have a product. So I've got to the point where I've actually developed a product through a whole prototyping phase, and we've got something. So this bottle here is my pride and joy. 12 months worth of work, 500 mil. So it's a stainless steel insulated drink bottle, double walled. So it keeps your drink cold or your water cold for up to 12 hours. So there's nothing special about that. That's very generic. What I like to think special is what's inside this cap. So what's inside this cap here, as you can see, we've got a little touchpad, which highlights green because it's got more than 50% battery. We've got a little magnetic charge there, but inside here is where the magic sort of happens. And that little lamp there, or that little square piece there, is a lamp that emits UV rays. And what that UV rays does, particularly at the strength that it does, it eliminates and neutralizes 99% of bacteria found in water. I've got a couple of different cycles. So there's a 30 seconds, 60 second cycle that's activated when you tap it twice. As you can see, it's gone blue. UV light's on. So that goes for 60 seconds. That'll ring out for, yeah, block your eyes. That'll ring out for 60 seconds. And there's a more intense mode, it's called. You tap it 5 times and it activates for 120 seconds or 2 minutes. And there's also what they call an IQ mode, or what we're calling an IQ mode, which basically it self-activates every 4 hours for a 20-second cycle, which basically minimizes the buildup of bacteria in the drink bottle when it's not in use.
That's a big problem as well, isn't it? Like I heard like water bottles get really grubby, and I'm like, how often do I wash my water bottle? Like it only has water in it.
100%, mate. 100%. I didn't realize, and when I sort of found that there's a whole heap of studies done around the bacteria levels in a drink bottle and compare it to a dog pile. Depending on how often you actually wash your drink bottle, and my drink bottle does it as well. I've had a plastic one for ages, and the smell just builds up over time. But you think nothing of it, because it smells a bit strange. You might wash it, might not, and just continue drinking. But yeah, you're spot on. The bacteria levels is very similar to what you actually can find in a dog bowl, which is alarming. So that's my. I said it in a nutshell, but I probably took 5 minutes to explain that. But we got it to a point where, like I said, we've had a concept, had an idea, or tried to tackle a problem. We've got it from the problem to the concept to the prototype to the actual product now. And now we're at a point where we want to launch. So obviously with launch comes a hell of a lot of considerations around web design, web optimization, marketing, fulfillment, the works. And like I sort of said straight off the bat, I have no fucking experience in any of this. So all the information that I have got is through conversations with people, with Joey the other day, through YouTube, through the online. I've managed to get to a point where I've got a little bit still to do, but I guess to particularly you, Scott, Auri, I know you experience with websites. Kate, I'd love to get your thoughts as well. I guess in regards to some of the more pressing items that I've got to do currently, like I said, website design, optimization, structure, marketing, etc.
Yeah.
So I don't know, do you want me to unpack any of that, or any initial thoughts, or how do you sort of want this to flow?
Can I ask some questions about the product itself?
Absolutely.
Move on.
Yes, but keep it succinct and keep a succinct answer, Lockie, so we can get through the whole. All right, so just keep it very succinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have used the Life Straw before, and they have a bottle version of their straw. So I guess my question is, what is the
advantage of this versus that?
Pardon?
Is the advantage of the bottle versus using the straw?
So Life Straw has a bottled version as well, where it's all just kind of in the cap, but it's basically the straw just sitting into the bottle, and it's incredibly hard to clean. So the bottle itself was like $100 or something absolutely ridiculous to buy. And it was so difficult to clean that after one trip to Nepal, I had to throw it out. Like I couldn't use it again. There was no way to clean it. So what are the benefits of your bottle over something like Life Straw, where entire scientific teams have gone through and done the research into how effective their straw is on multiple sources of water? And is yours going to be something that's easy to use, easy to clean, and it's reusable to an extent that's more than the Life Straw bottle?
Yeah, good question. So first of all, Joey, I think we got some feedback on the price point, which is great. I
laugh my ass off.
So second of all, Life Straw, can you talk me through it? I know there's UV pens, sterilizing pens. Is it something similar to that? I've actually never heard of it.
Yeah, so it's not a UV style bottle. It's actually got a filter that sits through the entire bottle, and it just filters through multiple levels of essentially different
sediment or
yeah, cool. Yeah. So yeah. The key difference between a filter and my product is a filter will get rid of sort of residue, dirt, all the sort of stuff that comes within water. It doesn't get rid of bacteria. So although visually your water might look really clean, what's actually in the water is still potentially, depending on where you get it from, highly toxic. Third world countries, Nepal probably is probably a prime example of that. So that's probably the key difference between a filter and my product. On the flip side of that, my product doesn't filter but sterilizes. So if, for example, you had dirt in the water. The dirt would remain in the water. It wouldn't remove that, but it would remove all the harmful bacteria that would come with that.
Sounds like a nice thing to combine in future.
I'm Joey.
Anyway, let's go through. All right. So the reality is, I guess, you're in a position to you got the product. All right. So the question is really getting it out there, right? Feedback, price point, etc., putting it together and executing a launch that fits the stage you're at. All right.
Yeah.
That's like the clear where we are.
Yeah. So just a few logistical questions. So like, do you have a minimum batch quantity? Like, do you have to go for a specific rate of volume, or I guess what are we trying to achieve over the next 3 or 6 months? Is it really just getting out there and make a bang with it all, or is it kind of like, just be pretty efficient, get things out there, make the right partnerships, but like not try and say for us, we had to make minimum 1,000. Like, there's no way going less. So we'll let's go 100%. If you only have a few, then different story.
Yeah, so I've got 200, and that's the minimum order quantity.
200, cool.
So I've got 200 right here, right now.
Awesome.
So, and that was purely based on cash on hand for me.
Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. So we've got 200, and so really all we have to work backwards from is how do we sell 200, and then as soon as we maybe we're 100 or 120 through, then okay, take that money, get money from anywhere else that you can, get 500, and kind of let that continue. The first 200 probably going to be the hardest 200. So, it's all uphill all downhill from there. So yeah, where are you already currently at? What are you going to do anyway?
Yeah, good question. So I jotted, Joey, I just put some dot points around, I guess, roadmap between now and launch, and some of the things I've still got to do. So if you just let me share my screen, it might be easier than that.
Bang, there you go. Beauty.
You'll see this?
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Beauty. So that's essentially stuff that I've all still got to do without sort of going through one by one and taking a shitload of your time. But particularly this stuff here. So right at the start, this is stuff that I've pretty well started. So the website design, particularly, I've got a bit of a framework and almost a skeleton. Now sort of moving on to an imagery type stage, which I can actually show you the website skeleton if that would be.
Yeah, nice.
For you guys. And then the marketing plan, fulfillment, and then actually putting that marketing stuff into action, with the launch being August 16. So exactly a month from now. That's
really cool. It sounds almost as it sounds very comprehensive. It's good. You know what you're doing. Yeah, well, I'm looking at all this stuff and I was like, some of these things I'm only just figuring out now. So I guess the first thing would kind of be launch a website, I guess. I know, are you planning like a big launch, or is it really something that like whip something up this weekend, send it around, and like people can start taking orders like this weekend? Or is there some kind of like launch that you want to get, or is it just doing all these things to then launch? Or I guess, is there a reason that you can't just like launch this weekend? Yeah,
the ladder. So it'd be around, and I say the ladder, that's purely just because I've still got a heap of shit to do. When I say heap of shit, it's like basically getting this stuff sorted, getting the website. So the website, I reckon, can be done within the next week. But that's, I guess, excluding the apps, which is obviously critical.
Why can't you do like a 1 hour, 2 hour Shopify site and just have a payment gateway, connect it to whatever, and then I can buy one tonight or tomorrow on the Monday?
There's absolutely nothing stopping that.
Yeah, because the plugins and all that, like minimum viable when shipping, right? So the plugins and all that can be staggered, like just like email marketing, like I said to you. Like you can start with the 1 or 2 key sequences, because if you're going to build 7 email sequences at once, it's the same thing with plugins. It's kind of like, I believe, minimum viable. You know, what's like, oh yeah, what's the shortest road to shipping it, basically.
Well, like I can tell you, I will be your first customer as soon as it's right now. So I can't give you money until you kind of launch in a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, and also I'm a big critique of water bottles, and so I really like yours. So
It's a
like,
maven, Lockie.
I'm not gonna.
I told you about mavens.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a maven of water bottles. That's why
I really am.
your
There's
first
only
customer.
one water bottle I like, and it's this one from. But I also my problem is I lose water bottles often. So like I'll walk away from it, I'll leave it somewhere, and then I'll realize like the next morning or something, and water bottle's gone. It's really like a joke in the office to be like, yep, Scott's water bottles in the kitchen or at the printer or something like that. So yeah, so I might be a return customer.
Could get
Anyway.
quite pricey for you.
Yeah, true. Well, I guess, yeah, I thought about that with like, I thought I'd lose AirPods, but I still got them because they're probably expensive and I get really worried.
Yeah.
But so maybe this will work. So I guess the first thing is, so I was speaking to a friend yesterday about literally like a concept like that doesn't exist. He hasn't worked on it, hasn't got anything. And I was like, cool, like go to like Upwork, get someone to make like a concept of that, put up a landing page and say, you know, first, you know, go into sign up now and, you know, get into the draw to get one for free, you know, or something like that. Like when we launch, just literally just to say, okay, these people are interested in this, right? And then maybe take 2 hours, I don't know, however much it costs for the Upwork person. And then you literally just got this page that, you know, if it comes up in conversation, if you do whatever, you can test ideas, you know, and then at least you have that page and you can sign people up. And even if you get like 100 emails, it's 100 more than not even getting it, right?
Yeah.
Then what you can do is, because you have an email address, you got 100 people, you can email them and say, hey, you signed up, like, do you want to buy this? You know, would you be more likely to, like, can you please tell me what your price expectation is? You know, and then they come back. And then what can you do? You can kind of then go say to some influencers and say, hey, you know, I'm Lockie, you know, I'm like, here's my website, you know, would you be interested in the brand collaboration? Here's how we might work, you know, and then you start getting all those things in line. And you know, that's kind of like idea stage. So my way of how I would do things, like, by all means, I didn't do this either. I launched with Kickstarter, which is like so much prep and having no idea whether it's going to go well once you launch. But because I did literally like the opposite, I'm like, no, get something live as soon as possible. And then you can build all these things up over time, but you're building it up with already having somewhere that people can go, somewhere that people can buy. You know, if there's, even within this community, maybe you might get 5 or 6 people, you know, but you get them now, and that's, you know, 194 to go. So that would probably be my starting point. Build the plan as you go. Like, what is it? Build the plane as you're falling down to the ground. Yeah. That's probably my starting point. But all of this looks really good. I think by the time you do all of that, you'll be a very good marketer and very good e-commerce operator, because that's all really quite good. Which parts of all of this are you most uncertain about, or do you seem pretty on top of it? You sound on top of it.
I guess the part that I'm most uncertain about is this web optimization. So the search engine optimization to ensure that you sort of get prime real estate, the embedding and the setting up of the Shopify app so they work, and then basically just optimizing the website so it's, you know, entices people to buy, really. So it's mainly the tech building side of things, and then the influencer engagement stuff, which I'm probably not concerned about, but the 2 things that I'm probably looking for the biggest amount of guidance on.
Okay. You probably don't have to worry all that much around the web optimization and coding. Like, you can build everything that you need, no code. Shopify is pretty good. If you really have to, this all then becomes like a conversation of like how much traffic do you have coming to your website versus conversion rate of like 2% versus 4%. You know, you still, like the hard part is really just getting people to your site first and getting to know who you are.
SEO is not often like the quickest way to traffic, FYI. So, you know, the influencers and stuff is much more direct. But if you've got a unique product name, people can Google if they hear about it. But that's you probably don't have to be super worried about that. That's unlikely to be your best source, like off the bat, anyway, for launch.
I would say everything on the web optimization thing, you probably don't have to think about for 3 months.
Yeah.
I would say if there's, sorry, yeah, Auri's hands up.
Yeah, sorry, like I just like, I totally agree. Don't worry about SEO at the moment. I work in an agency. We have stores that make millions of dollars and they have terrible SEO. And so at the beginning, you will have all the early adopters anyways. They don't really care if your image is 200 pixel wide or 300 pixel wide. They're interested in the product, they're going to buy. And then you have those early adopters and you can get feedback through those, you know, conversions and how that works, etc. And then you have some cash flow. And with that cash flow, you can then use, you know, some SEO optimizations and try some apps out, etc. But the problem is that all these optimizations, they hinder you from doing the first step. And then you get so hung up on, oh, but this app seems better. And this app only costs like $89 instead of $129. It's like, mate, you're focusing on $30. Get this website live as soon as possible. And then, you know, you can do these steps from then. But it's like, I totally understand. It's the fear of, I don't want to launch it when it's not perfect. But there are companies that make millions of dollars and they have terrible SEO.
There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. It's so true. The question's always, what is essential? That's always the question. What is essential? All right. And then at some point it'll be essential to start setting up better email sequences. Because it's like, if I'm going to get to this point by 3 months from now, I'm going to need better email conversion rates or whatnot. But that's just always a fantastic question. And that's great because now in the space of 5 minutes, we've squashed your biggest concern. And the beauty is it's no longer on your plate.
Well, the other thing I would have to add to this, which also kind of relates to it, is but not actually tangible, is that if there's any part of you that really wants to launch with something that looks and operates and acts really good, you know, like if you launch with something that's like scrappy and hacky very quickly, like that doesn't mean that like you're not as good at doing what you're doing as well. And like you probably shouldn't think of it like that if you do it all, I don't know. But because I remember like, especially with like a launch of this thing that you've been working on, very attached to it, you want to kind of launch with all looking really good. And I'm sure even what you do in like what you can whip up pretty quickly will be quite good, but the standard that you hold to yourself, because that's one of those things where like, I don't know what I've seen with some of the things that my friends are doing. The first thing that you launch, like they're like, it's good that it's bad early on. And like, that's the right thing you should do as quickly as possible. So you're actually a better operator for launching with something not good. If you, or not as good as what you think, if you're like, if you go listen to podcast things in like, you know, Silicon Valley and things like that, they always talk about you should be embarrassed by like the first thing. Like that's actually an indicator of, it's actually an indicator of that you're doing a good job because you got it out there as quickly as possible. And then it's like you're getting free feedback in the form of like emails, feedback in the form of a couple sales. Now that I've got it and I've purchased it, now I might tell my friends about it. Like you don't get that if in that month period until you launch, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're getting all these things for free because you've just done it in that way. Whereas you get into this like, just the duration to launch is really the same thing. And just kind of knowing, because I know how, you know, it felt for me, that
everyone.
Well, for everyone, it's a common thing.
Oh, the first version.
Yeah, it's a very common thing to want to launch and look good. So, but it's actually like, you know, it doesn't. Anyone who would think, or any self-consciousness around kind of like, oh, is this not good? Am I not good? Do I not know what I'm doing? Does everyone know? Anyone who thinks anything of that is clearly someone who like is never going to do it themselves. So like, and all the people who would respect that, like, just get it out there. It's good that you're getting it. And it also puts the pressure on because you are slightly embarrassed about it. You're like, okay, I got to get better really quick. So that keeps the fire burning, rather than you can you're not getting that feedback. Cool. Do you have any questions? A few people have spoken.
No, I love it. That's great feedback. That's great feedback, because you're dead right. That was probably my biggest concern, was launching with a half-baked shop front, and going far and wide with it, and almost burning your bridge before you start, in the sense that people go and they go, what the fuck is this? It's hacky, it's, you know, pop-up central, it's half-baked. Because then I think in my mind, I had it as like, well, that gives the impression that the product's the same, right? Like if that's the way your website looks, then your product's a piece of shit too. But that's great. I love it. Question around the Upwork in regards to sort of getting that, you know, expression of interest or whatever that might look like. How does that work, I guess, in regards to navigating that through Shopify? Do you know?
Yeah, well, two very practical options. You can do it on Shopify. You can even do it on Webflow if it's just easier to create something version 1, because you're not actually doing the Shopify fulfillments. All you need is a page that someone can look at pictures, images, a copy, and then you need a payment gateway like Stripe, or, you know, Stripe integrates with pretty much every e-commerce platform now. However, you also need to be learning Shopify, so probably just choose Shopify anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you just kind of create a page, couple of photos, literally maybe even you talking behind literally telling us what you told us before about the story. And then you show a couple of photos, maybe even like in that video that you just literally talk, white background, can even be Zoom, same background as what you got now, because the way you speak about it is really.
Liam will help him with that because they're both Adelaide. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, exactly. Get Liam behind a camera, and just talk, and then edit a couple of like images that you've got of the actual product, and then you say, you know, be one of the first once we launch, sign up, you know, and then say, or you know, join. You know, I'm gonna give 5 water bottles away to people who sign up prior to us launching, you know. And then, and who cares? You give 5 away, terms and conditions. You take a photo, you give us a review, and I can put that on the website to make me, you know, sound more legit. You know, because then now you've got 5 people who say, I love this water bottle, I use it for whatever. It's just great having the peace of mind of, you know, knowing that wherever the water source, it's going to be nice and clean, and that feels really good. You know, I don't, you know, it's just one less thing to worry about, and I'm more confident, you know, taking my water out to, you know, public water taps, and I take it traveling, whatever. Because obviously, as you know, with web optimization and marketing, is social proof is very important. You want people like reviews, people like hearing that people like them had a good experience with that product. They can trust that. So, and you're probably going to need that stuff anyway when you launch. That is one page.
Simple.
And yeah, you can either get emails. Then when you get those emails, email them. Design like a template email with a customer. Like really what you want to do is when you have a product, then you really need to switch gears. You've been in like discovery mode, which is like, how do I create the product? How do I get the product? You know, what's everything like that? Now it's like unless you'll probably make product changes. I don't know, maybe you have a version 2 in a year or 2 or something like that. Once you learn some more, you know, things like that. But now you really have to switch gears into really like, who are the people out there who would like something like this? And what do those people care about? Where are they? And how can the clearer you are at identifying them and then telling them a story that they resonate with, and then you say, well, this is the product, and, you know, and then they have to trade value for price in their own head. And if you do that in a way that's, you know, that works for them, you'll get sales. But who are those people? What are the characteristics of those people? You know, where do those people hang out? Who do they look at on Instagram? You know, what blogs do they read? And that's a journey that you kind of continue to go through as you kind of, you know, you'll get people that you didn't expect, you know, and then you'll find gold mines of places where those people hang out. Like for us, like for Espresso, like the music industry. really big because people have home studios and they have to have all their software on multiple screens, and it just makes it really good for sampling like music libraries, putting it in the mixer, or and they can do that with a multi-screen interface. I didn't know this would be useful for the music industry. I just thought it was good for me and a laptop having a second screen. So, but like then you go, okay, well, music is a very compressed industry. Then you can go to the blogs and stuff. So that's really all marketing plan is. Then you kind of then go into thinking that around, okay, well, how do I prioritize? What's the easiest one to get to? Don't spread yourself thin. I've literally just kind of gone through that with Espresso the last few months of trying to run 20 different marketing plans, influencers, email, PR, Facebook, Google,
20.
trying to do all of them at once. You can't actually go into the depth of actually looking at what's working and what's not, because you're trying to just spin a lot of plates at once. So that's the trap you can get in. How, again, don't do as what I've done. I guess my advice is prefaced by I've probably done exactly what you would have done. But now that I've learned, here's how I would have done it again. And here's also how I'm doing it now, which is choose the top 1 or 2 ways that you're finding these people and just go really into depth, because that will be the most effective. And you have to decide what the most effective ones are. And that you need to kind of test a lot of little things early on. But once you do get one that is effective and that makes a lot of sense, that is working or is within your budget per se, like you might get, say, influencers and affiliates, you just say, okay, I'll give you commission on whatever, because I don't have a big upfront budget to spend on whatever, same with like, say, Facebook ads, Google ads, they're getting quite expensive now. It's hard to break through and you need to do a lot of algorithm massaging. So you're not going to get really big results from them really quickly, unless your messaging is really good and you know how to kind of target those users are. But earlier on, I'm sure Auri could probably tell you it takes a while to really kind of get Facebook and Google working for you as well, particularly if you're learning the tools yourself. I might try and talk less and get.
This is great.
Well, I feel myself just kind of talking about a lot of things and hope I don't get carried away.
I would stop you if you're going into irrelevant territory, Scotty.
Okay. So I would probably start with like your messaging. The messaging around it is really good, and like the thoughtfulness around the features and how like IQ mode and things like that. And you linked us, a couple of competitors. And this is the interesting thing about just thinking grassroots about your market is that like your market is essentially people who have water bottles, full stop. Like it's like people who have water bottles who must be somewhat concerned about their water quality, somewhat concerned. What does that mean? People might be, so you can kind of make like comparisons of, you can either get a really expensive filtration system in your house, or it might be in a share house, or you might be whatever. Like this water bottle sorts you out without having to worry about that. And then maybe you'll have messaging that goes to, people in share houses, people who don't have an expensive filtration system, who don't have whatever, and just say, hey, like, if you do want really good quality water, just get this water bottle, and that's just drink from that. So that's like, so I think figuring out messaging and figuring out what angle you want to have with your messaging will be important, because, and that we've had to go through that as well. Hey Marv, and because we've got a mass market product. So like trying to get really specific with messaging to specific people is quite hard. And really you just have to choose, okay, I think this is an angle that will work, and then take some photos that show that, make your copy like that too, and then see if it works. If it doesn't work, slightly change your website, slightly change your photo, move on to the next thing. But yeah, how have you thought about that so far?
In regards to targeting different markets or different
people? Like how do you plan to like talk about the products in a way? Like who do you plan to sell the product to? Or say if you're talking about influencers, like who do you think that you kind of want to target?
it's been a challenge, right? Because when you actually sit down and think about it, you can literally target anyone, right?
Literally.
Like, benefit anyone. And being new to this game, I saw that as a benefit. I've gone, how good's this? And the more you dig into it, you go, fuck, this is not a benefit at all. This potentially could cook us, depending on how far and wide and non-targeted our messaging is.
How funny is it that like you learn so quickly, you're like, oh, this is so good. And then you're like, no, it's actually the worst.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. But there were sort of two key audiences that came out to me. The first one was health conscious individuals. So those that are either active, go to the gym, exercise regularly. What was that, Oz?
No, it was me. I said hypochondriacs.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
They're your number one.
100%. The second one was travelers. So people that travel frequently, particularly overseas, probably not ideal in the current climate, which probably doesn't happen regularly, but there's potential scope for those that travel regularly, go on hikes, because there's
outdoor adventures over
outdoor adventure. Absolutely. So there's probably two distinct markets that I have in my mind around where I'm going to target. And I think, Scott, it's probably going to come down to a bit of trial and error in regards to what market works best.
Yeah.
Similar to what you were saying, you almost sort of pulse test with little bits of marketing here and there in markets.
You want to be able to, I guess, what Scott has been able to do with the music thing, just be able to find out about them in a way. I'm not sure in terms of plugins and review systems and the best way to do that, but I don't know if Scott, if you have anything in mind, but that's like, it's like when I sign up for a new software product, and they go, oh, who are you? What industry are you in? Education. Are you the CEO? Are you the this or that? Are you the technical support? And they want to know, all right, well, people who mainly sign up for our software are CEOs from education companies. All right, cool. We can now zero in. Software companies only get that feedback loop because you're signing up. So for you, it'd be interesting to think about how we could do that.
Oh, mate, just you get customer's email address. Hey, have well, you can automate it once that's an issue. Like if it's say 10 customers a week, 20 customers a week, you can, if it's the copy and paste same email, you don't even need to automate that. But you do need to ask, and I think a lot of people would know that. I think that's good. Auri, did you have something to add?
One market I think that is amazing is there are a lot of like health and beauty chicks that have those water bottles with the crystals in there, and they believe for some reason it filters the water and helps them shine the moon brighter or whatever. They would love stuff like this because your bottle is way more durable, and they don't need this magic crystal, and it probably helps them with the scientific with science rather than some belief about a stone.
Wouldn't the crystal work better?
So what does the crystal do? Just add some salt, like some salt stuff.
He's so offended.
Ions positive.
Yeah. But another thought that I had is
I've got a friend who has one called Celestial Crystal Co. He's done the crystal water bottle thing where he buys them all off Alibaba, $4 a piece, and he's selling it or $8 or something, puts a little brand on it, and then sells them for $80. This is what the High Smile guys have done as well. He was telling me a little bit about it, but he's put the crystal in it. He doesn't know anything about crystals, doesn't believe in them, whatever. But what the crystal people believe is that it reorganizes the molecular structure of them, and you can charge them with the moon and this kind of thing, right? Sorry, I'm late. Sorry for interrupting you as well, Auri. Is this just a UV filter, or does it also do heavy metals and other things?
Just a UV filter, Marvin.
Okay, sweet. Marvin
sounds like the biggest expert in this market.
Yeah.
Next to you, Lachlan.
Business partner.
Just a quick thought that I had. What's the number one reason why your website is not live? Because you will never be able to collect customer feedback if you don't have a website. And just try to organize a call with your first 50 customers and ask them, why did you buy this product? What did you feel like? What do you find interesting about this? What are you going to do with it? Get as much data, personal data as possible. But you will never get this if nobody can buy from you. And so like give me a call tomorrow and we spend 2 hours on your website and we get it done. But like, what's the number one reason that your website is not live?
Perfection.
Don't worry about Australia Post. Don't worry about the apps, because once someone puts an order in, you're gonna say yee-hoo, and you're gonna go in person to Australia Post and say, how much does it cost to send this to that person? And then you're gonna figure out the process. But you will never be able to do that if nobody orders a product. And so at least have the website ready so that I can do a purchase. And then I can buy the product, and then you can call me and I'll tell you about the process, how it was for me and what you need to change.
I love it.
Cool. Yeah. So what I was thinking around health conscious people, why do health conscious people want to buy your product?
With the UV radiation, well, it's probably not a good start, but the UV that actually sterilizes the water, takes the bacteria out of it. So there's probably not a hell of a lot of Australian market's probably slightly different to probably overseas and third world countries, as I said before, around the contamination of the water. But that would be number one, in the sense that you look at particularly those that go to gyms, they're putting everything inside their body, whether that be protein, whether that be magnesium, whether that be amino acids, whatever it is. So for those that are actually really health conscious in regards to what they're sticking in their body, that was going to be my line of promotion, in the sense that now they can drink with confidence 100% or 99% bacteria-free water. So that was going to be my angle, particularly with those that are either exercising or extremely health conscious. The hiking stuff's a little bit different, but it's similar in the sense that you'd be targeting, those freshwater streams, which has the same ability to neutralize the bacteria. Joe?
Just with the why they would buy it kind of question you just asked, I think we talked about this the other day, but if it's like E. coli is one of those things that can be in there, and it's like, all right, what does that lead to? Because like the people are always more sensitive to pain than they are to pleasure, right? And if it's like E. coli leads to this potentially, that's probably a pretty tangible, like, yeah, how fucking bad is what you fucking put in your body? Like, lucky for you, I've got this solution right here. So I don't know if you can figure that out.
It's actually,
without being like, be airtight about it, as I say, like don't make any like outrageous claims or anything like that. But if there's clarity on like, all right, it's linked to these diseases, and that linked, not like you get, just to make sure I've, qualified what I'm saying here. Like, that makes it if it's health people, that's going to resonate, because you've just triggered like, yeah, that's not good, and I taste it. It's tangible because also they taste. Everyone knows that taste. So they go, oh shit, every time I've had that taste, I've been exposing myself to that. Right?
Yeah.
It just makes it, it's why I stopped biting my fingernails. I just have this habit of biting my fingernails, and someone goes, the bacteria from that can tear your stomach lining. And I've never bit them since.
I so I might stop.
Yeah, and there you go. But it's when you actually give that context that it's like, bang, fuck, feedback loop. It's so clear. It's like, shit, by now, how much is it? I don't care. It's worth more than being in hospital for this. So just, it's a Google search, or someone in the community who's like health savvy, and bang. And that's, for me, that's copy. But I don't know, that's just my perspective.
Well, mate, following our chat the other day, I actually went on the World Health Organization website.
Reputable? Yep.
Yeah. So through their studies, they're claiming that 2 billion people around the world have drinking water that's contaminated with feces.
That'll do it, mate. That'll sell some bottles.
Correct. So whether you're conscious about your health or not, you don't want to be drinking shit. So I think there's a couple of different
potential. Oscar, I don't know anyone who wants to drink shit.
You're spot on. And it was that sort of sparked that thought around, well, where's the data here that we can almost put
front? Mate, that line, just, I don't know, at the end of your video or in the middle of your video, like, I did some research, turns out too good. And then, mate, it's like, they're going to do something, they're going to be conscious. They're going to remember you at the very least.
Well, so I think whenever, one easy thing that can just be pretty consistent throughout your messaging is really wanting people to question the quality of their water. Just like, doesn't mean they're in a bad situation. Doesn't mean they just should kind of think, oh, is my water quality good? Because then what they're thinking is, well, where's this, like, you know, and maybe I can solve this on my own, or maybe your product is that solution. Yeah, maybe I don't have to think about is the quality, because maybe my water quality is probably fine, but I'm paranoid about it. Your product, okay, fine, like I'll get it. And it's just and that's what comes into what your messaging before that you said, I wrote it down, was drink water with confidence, which is what it would then solve.
That's a good line, by the way. If that's not written down somewhere, Lockie, I don't know if you already wrote that yourself or Scott just said that. Because when I'm thinking about the user experience, it's like life is full. You don't want to worry about drinking shit in your water. Drink water with confidence. Just buy the fucking bottle.
Sorry, Kate, did you have something to add?
Yeah, a little bit, and I might be backtracking a teeny bit here. So one of the benefits of your product over pretty much all of the existing ones on the market is that they're filtration systems, not UV systems. So the filters not only kill or remove the bacteria, they also remove all of the essential minerals that people would wanting to drink their water for, especially all these health conscious people, and they're starting to realize the importance of getting those in their water. And the UV systems don't remove any of those minerals or kill them off. They only kill the bacteria. So people are still getting their magnesium or whatever it is in the water that they want. So that's sort of one way that you can target those health conscious people. And another thing as well is people who do use water filters. So I use a water filter because the water in this house tastes horrible. But I've never changed my water filter. And after a couple months to years, if you're not replacing it, it's actually introducing more bacteria into your water than it's removing. Whereas the UV light is never going to introduce more bacteria. It's either going to just die and not work, or you'll replace the UV light bulb or little LED, I'm assuming it is.
You know what this all is? Like, this is all email 1, email 2, you know, education about fucking water. See, Auri.
I'm heading off. I put something in the text.
Auri, thanks, mate.
Great session. Thanks, Lockie. Thanks, Scott. And thanks, everyone else.
See you, buddy. The free taste testing is a good one. He's got
great idea. Great idea.
I'll write it down. But, you know, the beauty is this is recorded too, so you have a copy and you can go over it. But that's another great angle from Kate, like just the practicality of, all these things that you think you're doing for water.
Say if you are comparing against filter, literally just something exactly what Kate said, then people would just be like, oh no, but I use a water filter, and it's like
visual
this.
Yep.
So that's more like, I think the way like the marketing funnel works, if you've ever heard top, middle, lower funnel, that top of funnel is question your water, and then you're like, oh, okay. Then middle funnel is okay. What I can get a $4,000, filter. I can get a life straw. I can get a water bottle filter, or I could get the UV filter. And you're comparing the two, so that's kind of like middle funnel, like which solution should I try? And then that's when you'd kind of talk about that stuff. If you tell someone who's not even considering it the difference, they're like, why do I care? So like that's what that means in consideration mode. And then the bottom lower funnel is like, why should I buy now? Like why right now? Okay, there's a sale on, or get a free hat, get what else? Here's the cost of inaction. You're still going to be drinking bad water every day until you buy this, or at least so it's like an act now type. That's the lower funnel. So just knowing the difference in that consideration, you don't need to come up with a comprehensive marketing plan that shows that, but that's when Joe says email 1, email 2, email 3, email 1 is question the water. Email 2 is here are the different types of ways that solve it. No, we think this is the right one because of X, Y, Z. And then 3 is, well, you've read these emails. Here's 20% off. Like, here's 20% off if you buy it now.
Here's our contribution to your health, 20% off. And the whole arc of this is that, again, you're not selling them like a bottle at the end of the day. Like, the bottle's just the solution. They have this problem they're not aware of. Your services, you educate them. You do this all in one thing where they're not problem aware. They see this flashy bottle, they click on the ad or the influencer or whatever, and they go, oh, wow, I've been educated. This is the problem. And you've taken them full arc from problem to actual best solution with what Scott just drew. and all there. Thank you very much. Leave us a review and bang. And it's not like I've got to sell these and justify the cost. It's like, here's your problem. And essentially, like in the back of your head, it's like, I should charge you like $300 so you're not drinking shit anymore. But it's, it's 100.
So what actually is the price point
So
you've landed on? Sorry, Marvin.
$100, but that's inclusive of GST and free shipping, or shipping as well. So
Well, we have these glass water bottles down here. I asked my mum how much they cost, and they're like $40 or $50, just like glass normal water bottle. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, all right, 100.
Thoughts on 99 versus 100?
Psychological
99.
pricing, love it.
It just triggers something in the brain.
I don't know what the difference is. 99 doesn't sound too bad. Flat 100 is ooh.
Yeah, I think as soon as you go over 100, over the 3.
Well, you know what's good about 99? You kill 99.99% of germs, and it's $99.
That is good.
I'm gonna have to get you on a marketing retainer, Joe.
We used to sell houses for $99.99. So
He's thought about it very deeply.
It's imprinted on the back of my eyelids.
Marvin, what were you thinking?
I feel like I've actually got a lot of experience in this water realm. I've got friends who've ordered this thing called Awake Water, where they spend $15 per big jug of water, and it's it's been pressed through this spring that's come from New Zealand or something, and it's got magnesium. It's ionized in a particular way that makes you enlightened or something. And then I've got other friends who've part of a network marketing scheme of selling Kangen water filters, which filter out half your water and remove all the bad juju. And those are like $4,000, and they make money on the sales they do for it. Otherwise, I've got people who like swear by the life straw, and they just always drink out of it because they really want to avoid heavy metals and fluoride and that kind of thing. And people like my girlfriend studied at uni. She was doing naturopathy for a while, and they have their whole school filtered to the extent where they don't have any fluoride in the water or chlorine or anything else, because that can often be flushed through the main water systems to make sure all the pipes are clean, right? And so she's and I'm even a water conscious nut, right? Because like I don't want any heavy metals in my body. I don't drink fluoride. I basically drink rainwater and spring water, and filtered water. But to me, this market of your UV filter, and this isn't a bad thing, right? So your UV filter doesn't speak towards the people who don't want fluoride. Your one speaks to the people especially who want to, I guess, let's say, harvest natural water from wherever the hell it is. And so here at Belle's place, her mum drinks rainwater. Sydney Water, side story, Sydney Water tried to charge her for it, by the way. Anyway, she boils through the kettle all her drinking water. And so a filter for her could be awesome. Or people going on bushwalks, people hiking, outdoor people who like to fill up on the go. Like these people, they've got a direct need for it if they've already got a fresh source. There is a huge market in all the people who are in conspiracy land, because these people are like, I'm never drinking fluoride because the government's controlling my mind. That's a really big market. However, and these people are super emotional, and they're super ready to buy because they're like super convinced on this shit. We can chat about that stuff later. But,
you're bringing plenty.
This guy,
I'm done.
This guy is marketing. He's
Hey, the whole thing's recorded. The whole thing's recorded. You just
You've encountered this
what's happened?
this water
like watching a
quality
TED talk.
underworld.
I'm watching a TED talk on water, and I've known Mark. I wrote a book with Marvin. Like, you think you know someone?
Yeah, guys. Seriously, this water thing is like people are willing to spend a lot of money on water. Yeah, and
Lockie, I think Marvin knows the water. You know how we were talking before? Know those people, know what they're thinking about.
Yeah.
Marvin knows that more than I even knew existed.
Yeah, I feel like we should have a chat about this and draw a mind map. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
all right.
Go anyway. I love it.
Yeah, there we go.
Talk
So
about
that's a
understanding.
little breakdown.
So, Lockie, the easiest, most condensed way for you to get market research is speak to that guy. He knows the market. Wow, that's incredible. Thanks, Marv. Thanks for just dropping in. That's wow.
That's all good. And I got plenty of people you can do market research with.
There you go.
Wow, perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Marvin also has a history in fast-moving consumer goods as well, so he does know the promotion side.
Oh yeah, for sure. Red Bull days.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get, mate. Like, what? I guess where do you want to take this from here? I'm conscious of there's a lot that's been kind of thrown at you. You probably really need to take it and digest it. Do you have any other questions or?
No, I don't, mate. I don't. Not at this point in time. I've got a page and a half of notes, which has been fucking brilliant. I think number one on my list, I think, is speaking with Auri around how we can bring this website to life with a bare minimum to get those consumer insights, at least a payment portal, as you said, the 2-hour Shopify shop, whatever you said. I think that's critical. And then closely behind that would be a pretty extended catch up with Marvin. I'd be pretty keen to pick your brain, mate.
Let's talk before you talk to Auri, so then you can have a bit more of an idea of who the hell is buying water and concerned about it.
Done. I reckon that's my next couple of days planned out.
So Auri followed up in the chat. I don't know if you can see as well. He said he's free from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow. So tomorrow morning. I don't know what your day is like. Sydney time. So slightly behind for Adelaide. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Pick a window there. Do that in parallel. What's your weekend looking like, Marv?
He's on mute.
Can't do Sunday. Yeah, let me know when you're free tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good tomorrow morning, and probably about that 12 p.m. I'm no good, and then I'm good Sunday. But then all next week's fine.
Have a jam session where you get the three on Zoom and just workshop it. Or Auri doing the Shopify side, Marvin doing the messaging, and do you already have a set of photos and things like that already, or?
Yeah, of the product, just not in use, but just the clean photos of the product I got.
Yeah, you got those types of photos, and then you can kind of make placeholders to know what shots you need to get, and you can kind of sketch and draw what you want in each section, what colors you want. Yeah. That'd be pretty fun. I might drop in.
Keep us in the loop.
Yeah. That sounds like very tangible next steps, and then hopefully if you can get something live by Sunday. Have you created a Shopify account? You've already created a shell of it and all that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. You get that, get it to a stage that you're happy. Make sure that the payment portal, if you've done it directly through Shopify, if it's connected to a bank account, connected to a Stripe account or something like that, so you can accept payments or whatever. And then hopefully by end of the weekend, you might be able to get your couple first sales.
I reckon we got some lining up.
If you post on the Constant Student, as soon as I see that post, I'll buy. Like I think I said that before when Joe tagged me. I genuinely, I'm in the market for water bottles right now. I would have bought one, but COVID, so I'm not looking to go to shops and stuff. But so here, I don't need an excuse.
I send you
orders. Right, this one comes straight to your door.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, once the site's live.
Yeah. All right, so Lockie, consolidate. I sent you Auri's number.
Yep.
I will use this. I'll put the timestamps on this video for you. I think it'll probably be good for you to go over at some point as well, but I'll timestamp it out so you can skip to what people were talking about. And after you've consolidated with those guys, just feel free to message me and send a link for feed. Like have like 3 or 4 or 5 people from Constitution or whatever who are invested in, want to see you do all this. When you need feedback like the landing page, like the Shopify store, send it. Someone will respond pretty quickly, that's what I do. And then you're getting that quick feedback loop. And like they said, just push through. I mean, it's a tangible thing at the end of the day. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people in the community that are going to get behind it. And we can then think about how else it can be helpful, right?
Yeah.
Getting
When
behind
asking
people's launches.
when asking for feedback, make sure it's specific. Try and craft the question so they can't good, not good, anything like that. Kind of say, which photos out of these two do you like more? Or like, say, if you're trying to decide what word to use, write one, take a screenshot, write another, take a screenshot, and then like upload 2 photos and then make a poll or something like that. And like, just like be very specific with feedback, because then the more broad it is, the more the person doesn't know how to give feedback or answer which one do I prefer. I prefer that one. Okay. And then you're like, cool, I'll do that. So that's the only tip around feedback. But yeah, awesome session and awesome work. Like,
Yeah.
sounds like quite a journey you've gone on since literally going to that, water fountain thinking, what is this? How do you feel about everything that's happened, like that whole journey?
Mate, it's been quite, I'd say enjoyable is overarching thing. There's been times I want to pull my hair out. And to be fair, at that point in time, like I said, I was stood down for 12 weeks, not knowing whether I had a job at the end of it. And I took this risk. So you could probably call me reckless as well, but not knowing whether I was going to have any sort of ongoing income. But
Yeah.
mate, the whole experience has been sensational. Like, I've learned so much around what to do and what not to do, mainly. But it's been a hell of an experience to get it to this point. And now there's probably somewhat an emotional investment as well as a financial investment to what I've done. So, yeah, fingers crossed people like it.
Nah, awesome. I think we might just end this call. Maybe if we just go around each little square, maximum 20 seconds, just if there's any questions or comments or feedback, maybe starting with Archie. Haven't you been nice and
quiet?
Yeah, I've just been listening. Is there any international shipping for the UK?
Good question. TBC, so it's only in internal at the moment, so domestic in Australia. But definitely on the cards, Archie. Definitely on the cards.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, because it's only 50 quid pounds if it's 100 USD. So yeah, there's the whole different what price ranges when you're going for international.
Very good point.
International expansion. You got Archie opening up the UK water conspiracy theorists. Archie, keep an eye out for anyone who's a bit skeptical of their water supply.
Honestly.
Water and COVID vaccine go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah. Marvin, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I actually feel like you've got a really specific market. It's not the people who are far out super duper water people, but it's not the people who have no idea. It's like the entry level people who just want clean water. Maybe they know that their water isn't right. So it's good. It's awesome, man.
Beautiful.
Kate?
Oh, I have quite a few questions. So maybe I might get you to message me on the Constant Student and I'll send you, I've put together a document of questions.
Love it. That's brilliant.
I guess the most pressing thing at the moment, which I wanted to ask you about, is I know for plumbing, there's a requirement that if you're installing UV systems into house water, you need to meet Australian standards. And I was wondering if you've looked into whether or not that's a requirement for water bottles. I doubt that it would be, but just in case you don't want to get caught up.
Yeah, not with the voltage. So it's approved. It's got the regulatory compliance mark, so it's approved here. It's got the FCC, and it's got the European one, which escapes me the name of it, E something I think. But it's got all the safety checks, so it's 100% compliant.
Yeah.
But it goes underneath. It doesn't fall within that category, given the voltage and the power of it.
Cool.
I think.
Awesome. Oscar?
Great work, buddy. I've got 2 thoughts. Just off the top of my head, I'm a soccer coach and I coach kids, and their parents are they're very protective of them. So I think maybe parents you could target if you're struggling for ideas. And the second one is it packaged with instructions? The water bottle?
100%, mate. Yeah. So it comes with instructions. It comes with a charging cable, and it comes with a free little bottle holder as well. So there's a little holder that clips on that you can lick your thumb in.
Unreal. Great work, buddy.
Epic.
Cool.
I mean, I think I've said everything that's on my mind. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Just honestly, my number one is lean on the community. This has been like an amazing test. Like, mate, fucking, I wish I could have had this when I didn't even have this when I was launching Constant Student. I fucking wish this is here. We can do this like more. Like, this is great. Like Friday night, lockdown in Sydney, like fucking, this is the best. You're gonna go watch the footy straight up. It's perfect. It's like people like, it's just this amazing resource of like, wow, people want to come and learn on your project and they'll give you you discover like a fucking Marvin or I had no idea. I wasn't even thinking about any of that shit. So lean on the community. That's it. Joe out.
Unreal. Thank you so much, guys. That is so fucking valuable for me. Like I said, from the get-go, I've been no experience. I've been flying completely blind. So you've opened up a hell of a lot of avenues for me. So I really appreciate you giving up your time. And then Marvin, Kate, and obviously Auri giving up their time from here on in. It's been fucking brilliant. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I think the singular takeaway
Awesome.
is it'll be very easy for you to find things to do. I think the goal is, what's the order of those things, and trying not to do, too many things up, like having the order of that and saying, okay, I don't have to think about that then, and so you just focus on what you need to do now. It's very hard to do, but that's obvious. That's the ideal way that you can kind of figure out to do things, and the only way you can do that is like this type of feedback. So yeah,
I'm happy for you to like WhatsApp me a roadmap. Like, oh, Joe, I consolidated what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. Like step 1, step 2, step 3. And I'm happy to that doesn't mean I know, but I'll give you critical feedback on that even, because that feedback loop, like otherwise you go and execute something, you take a week to do something and that week could have spent otherwise. And again, that is really rare too. But again, this community, those are the sort of things. So if it's like too many things to tie together in your head and you want a quick feedback, I'm happy to do that too.
Yeah, but also don't feel like you're obliged to keep us in the loop and stuff too.
Not.
It's just like, this is a resource that you can plug into in any way that you're happy to, and that's, it's here when you need it. If you need a message any one of us individually saying, hey, like, here's what I'm thinking at the moment. Let's chat for 15 minutes because I might be thinking about doing too many things all at once or whatever. I'm not sure about whether to do this or whether to do this. I think you've already got people here, Auri, Marvin, Kate, Archie, us three. I think that's really powerful. And it's what I wish I had too. Cool. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Good luck, Lockie. Talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.